Those 12 House Republicans we just mentioned who voted no just about a half an hour ago, one of those 12 is here and joins us now. Republican Congressman Representative Leonard Lance of New Jersey joining us now in his first interview since the vote. So glad you chose us here on Fox Business. What was behind your no vote, sir?
I favor the continued deductibility, Liz, of state and local taxes. It has been in our tax code since 1913. It's very important to New Jersey, the state I represent. It's a matter of federalism, and I don't think we should be paying taxes on taxes.
So I guess that Speaker Paul Ryan's speech of "This is our moment" did not sway you?
I think there are many good portions in the bill, making the standard deduction for families $24,000, doubling it, protecting students, those with high medical expenses. I favor those provisions. But SALT is important to New Jersey. Also, Liz, I tend to be a deficit hawk, and I don't favor increasing the national debt.
This is the question. What happened to all of the fiscal hawks that used to be in the conservative Republican groups? Because we do know that it will initially add to the deficit. And okay, we get that. There is this belief on behalf of President Trump and Stephen Mnuchin that eventually the growth from these tax cuts will be so vibrant and so robust that it will pay for itself. Do you believe that?
I hope that's the case, but I'm not sure that will be the case. And I'm a deficit hawk, and so I want to make sure that we don't add to the debt for the sake of our children.
Okay, I understand that, but there are others from states that do not deduct as much of their state and local taxes because their taxes in their states are not as high. But they are the ones who are saying, when will high state taxes like high tax states like New Jersey, New York, California become more responsible about cutting taxes in their state?
I think we should not raise taxes in New Jersey, and our new Democratic governor may want to raise taxes, income taxes at the state level, and I'm opposed to that. However, New Jersey is not a receiving state, Liz. We're a sending state. We send a lot more revenue to Washington than we receive back, and I don't want to make that situation worse. I don't want to exacerbate that situation. Well, I remind all of my colleagues here on Capitol Hill that New Jersey sends more money to Washington than we receive back.
We just saw that. That is a great point. I live in New Jersey, sir, so here I am. I get this. New Jersey sends $31 billion more than it takes out to the federal government. New York, even higher, 47.8. Let's call it 48 billion. They are net. That they don't use as much as many of the other states who don't put in certainly as much. But nobody seems to understand that. And in the end, I'm just wondering, are you going to get disinvited from the karaoke Christmas parties that are happening on the Hill because you are one of the 12 who voted no? I mean, are you starting to feel any pressure?
Quite the contrary. I believe that my views are the views of the overwhelming majority of the people I serve, the views of the overwhelming majority of the people of New Jersey. And I am a deficit hawk, and I have always been a deficit hawk, and I will continue to be one.
Does it surprise you that this deductibility of the state and local taxes has been in the tax code since 1913? Okay, so they decided to eliminate that, or at least cap it. They decided to cap that. And yet, they decided to leave in much younger different things within the tax code, such as carried interest. We didn't get answers yesterday from our Pennsylvania Republican that we had in the interview, Mike Kelly. I need to see if there's an answer from you. Who got to the House and the Senate to make sure they kept their hands off this very low rate that billionaires in private equity pay? Was it the lobbyists? Did some of these guys who are friends with President Trump make personal phone calls? How is it possible that 1 minute the president on the campaign trail says, carried interest is going to be gone, it's not fair, my friends won't like it, and then suddenly radio silence, and these gentlemen on the screen, we love profits, we understand that, but they get to be treated so much better than even those making $200,000. These guys are paying a 20% tax rate.
I am not on the Ways and Means Committee, and so I don't know precisely how that occurred. But I agreed with what President Trump said on the campaign trail in that regard. And I certainly think related to salt. As you point out, it's been in the tax code since 1913, and I believe that it was even in the tax code during the administration of Abraham Lincoln when an income tax was imposed to pay for the Civil War. And so historically, salt has been part of tax policy in this country, and we should continue to have the ability to deduct state and local taxes. And I hope that this might be revisited at some point in the future. But I voted as I did for that reason, and also because of my being a deficit hawk.
Before we go, we are about to see the lights turn off at the U.S. government by 11:59 Friday night because our continuing resolution ends at that point. We need to pass something. What do you expect is going to happen? This, as there is this pretty significant $81 billion disaster aid relief to help hurricane victims that has just been floated yesterday.
We will pass a continuing resolution in the House. It will go to the Senate, Liz. The Senate may modify it, and then it will come back to the House. And I'm committed to voting to make sure that government remain open. And I'm certainly willing to consider disaster relief aid and other provisions as well. I do not want to shut down government. I think it's not in the best interest of the American people.
Of course not.
And certainly it's not in the best interest of our fighting men and women abroad, including those who are fighting to victory in the war against ISIS. I think the president has done a good job in that area, and I want to continue that progress, and that means we have to fund the government.
Okay, so kicking that can down the road, that can is getting pretty beaten up, I have to tell you. Thank you so much, Representative. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you.
Thank you so much. Leonard Lance is the congressman from New Jersey.